The Alberta NDP are giving out grants to Alberta-based breweries to make up for the latest tax increases that they've implemented. In May, the government imposed a $1.25 tax on all beer, regardless of origin, and also brought in protectionist grants for brewers producing 300,000 hectoliters of beer in Alberta or 400,000 hectoliters worldwide. It's a monthly grant program that calculates money given back to breweries based on a calculation of cumulative sales times a grant rate, which essentially pays back the added costs of the tax to the breweries. But some say that both the tax and grant program combined are unconstitutional and give Alberta breweries an unfair advantage. You see, breweries aren't the only beer-based businesses in Alberta. There are also importers that bring in a variety of beers from outside of the province that are being impacted by the tax increase, and it's also causing some animosity between the two groups. I talked to Bo, an importer at Artisan Ales, about this negative effect.
I think one of the things that's really unfortunate about what the government has done with respect to beer is that the conversation has kind of keeps turning to us versus them, us the importers versus the local microbreweries. And I actually don't think that's what this is about. Between the importers and the Alberta micros, we're probably talking about something that's about 5 to 7% of the market.
She also suggests that the grant program simply isn't the way to go and that there are other, more effective solutions that could have been implemented.
I think that there are ways that the government could help local microbreweries that would not contravene free trade law. We have a brewing college at Olds. I think it would be a win-win for the government and for the local micros to, for example, give internships to students that are going through that program, and the government could, let's say, subsidize their salaries or pay their salaries for a certain proportion of time. I mean, not only is that helping the breweries, but it's helping the people who are studying in that program to get experience. Local breweries have complained about not being able to get into other provinces. Perhaps the government could provide services in terms of helping them navigate these systems in the other provinces. Perhaps what this government should be doing is trying to explain to other provinces and push other provinces to go to a more open market.
But Graham Sherman at Toolshed Brewery, based right here in Calgary, Alberta, says that the grants are more like a tax break because the government is just reimbursing companies for taxes that they've already paid on their product.
We have sold the beer, we have collected the money from the sales of our beer, and we have already paid the government that tax on the beer that we've sold, and we simply get that tax back through this grant program. So that's one of the confusing points to some people. They're referring to this as a handout, or that taxpayers' dollars are subsidizing these breweries, and it's not the case.
And as for the grants, I asked him if he thought it was fair that they were being given out with no stipulations like perhaps allotting the money to equipment or other productive means. But he says that brewers are already receiving another grant under the Growing Forward 2 program.
The Growing Forward 2 grant gives us a portion of money back for an approved purchase of manufacturing equipment that can be shown to support agriculture in the province. This grant is specifically for breweries that are producing in Alberta and that are predominantly selling the majority of their beer also in Alberta.
I also asked him about the animosity that's occurring as a result of the implementation of the program.
When the importers have something like this come out, they unfortunately get, well, not all of them. There are some importers in this province that have said, darn it, that really sucks, but I'm going to continue to move on, and my business won't be affected. I'm going to keep bringing in the best beers I can. There's a couple importers that are very vocal and have actually, gone out in a pretty attacking way to say, local breweries are taking handouts and yada yada. That's not the case, and this isn't a fight between us and local importers. I'm not fighting with local importers, but when they say, you know, it's when you say something false like that, and yet you attack Alberta and you attack our ability to be supported by the local government, well, what do you want me to do, right? I support the change because it supports me and my employees and the product that I sell and the industry that I'm in and the farmers that I buy barley from.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. The government shouldn't be involved in business, and this is just another overreach that pits businesses against one another and creates an unstable business environment overall. Trade barriers are limiting, and not to mention, we're losing out on up to $130 billion in revenue as a result of internal trade barriers, according to the Standing Senate Committee. Artisan Ales actually has an agreement on internal trade challenge in the works right now, and they're seeking to have the tax changes mended to be fair to all Alberta businesses. A panel will soon make that decision, and I'll definitely keep you updated as that story unfolds. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks for watching. Did you get a chance to sign my petition at beerfreedom.ca? Click the link below for details and to add your name in support of free trade in Canada.